Now, for years, the Elgin Marbles, well, years, decades, centuries
yeah.
even, the Elgin Marbles have been on display in the British Museum. The sculptures brought to Britain from the Parthenon in Athens by Lord Elgin in 1806.
Yes, but now the Greek chairman of the Easy Group is launching a one-man campaign to try to reunite the statues at the British Museum with those still at the Parthenon in the new Acropolis Museum. So Stelios is here to explain why. I'm going to speak to him in just a moment. Nice to see you back, Stelios, and historian Lucy Moore. First, though, we're going to take a look at the history of the Elgin Marbles.
The Elgin Marbles is a collection of stone objects that were acquired by Lord Elgin between 1799 and 1810. They originate from the Parthenon in Athens. It's a building with a complex history involving alterations and damage to many of the sculptures over the course of centuries. By 1800, only half of the Parthenon's original sculptures remained. At this time, Lord Elgin was the British ambassador to the Ottoman Empire, and he gained permission to remove half of them. He brought the marbles back to Britain, and in 1816 they were acquired by the British Museum. Since then, they've been on display to the public free of charge.
So, as we mentioned, with us, Stelios, Sir Stelios Hadjiioannou, chairman of the Easy Group, and historian Lucy Moore. Good morning to you both. I'll start with you, if I may, Sir Stelios, because...
you don't have to keep calling me.
I'm sorry to be so fun, because you are Stelios,
yeah,
really.
Exactly, thank you.
Just let's have a quick look at this. You're running this campaign in various newspapers, aren't you, with a full-page ad, and you want the Elgin Marbles returned from the British Museum. Tell us why.
Well, first of all, as I clearly say in the ad, I want the two curators of the two museums to sit down and talk to each other. I think this can be solved with a win-win solution. For years and years, actually 200 years to be more precise, there was really no proper place to store these treasures in Greece. It's simplistic, it's naive to assume that you take them back and you stick them back on the original temple. I mean, that's not what people are suggesting. Thankfully now there is a brand new state-of-the-art museum in Athens at the foot of the Acropolis hill. It's designed by Schumi, the famous Swiss architect, and I believe that's a good place to sort of showcase things like that. Now, for 200 years they've been in the British Museum. I'm not here to make a legal argument about it. You know, Lord Elgin took them somehow. It's irrelevant how and why. The Greek state did not exist then. The main point is they're both treasures. You know, they are worth enjoying together, if possible. The two museums have to work it out between them.
Well, Lucy can tell us the how and the why Lord Elgin took the marbles in the first place.
Absolutely. Well, Greek art was very much the fashion, classical art was very much the fashion in the 18th century, and his architect in Scotland wanted these, you know, when he found out that his boss was going off to be ambassador in Constantinople, told him to pick up some good Greek statues to bring home to put in his house in Scotland. And initially I think they were just getting plaster casts of the marbles, but then they found that no one really minded if they picked them up and took them away.
So just lifted them from the ground?
Well, and often tore them from the pediments. I mean, that's part of the issue of the legality. I mean, you know, I know Stelios doesn't want to get into that.
I don't want to get into the legality. The point is they should be enjoyed together. The two museums should get together. You know, as far as I'm concerned, I'm involved with travel. I want people to travel and see art. That's what I want people to talk about them, more importantly.
But if you got the Elgin marbles back, took them back and put them with the ones that were in Athens, you still wouldn't have a full collection, would you? Because there are other bits in other parts of the world.
Isn't that right?
The new museum in Athens actually has the full frieze of the Parthenon sort of recreated around the building, and it's actually facing outwards, which is the proper way to enjoy it, not facing inwards, which is the way it's in the British Museum. So you could put them back in and enjoy them. And the main point here is that if people talk about them, they will come back to the British Museum and see more works of art. The worst thing for archaeology is people ignore it. People forget that it ever existed.
And the thing about archaeology also, Lucy, is that it is good to see things in context. Where they were made, where they were built.
To have them all together. I mean, from a cultural point of view, it would be absolutely incredible to see them all
on
reunited
loan
wherever.
Or as a full time, because there's a precedent issue here, isn't there? Is that if the Elgin marbles are returned full time to Greece, then heaven knows what else would go from museums all around the world.
Let me try and make an offer, if I may. I mean, this campaign is run by easyCruise, one of my businesses. If there is a way of having a cultural exchange, if easyCruise can sponsor a separate collection of Greek art coming to the British Museum in return for that one returning to Athens, that might be a way.
And would it be a permanent collection, though? Would you take them back from the British Museum and keep them in Greece?
I wouldn't worry too much about the legalities. I would worry about the exchange. I mean, why there are terracotta warriors, you know, Chinese treasures displayed in the British Museum at the moment? Because the Chinese decided they want their artifacts displayed in London. And they're not going to be there forever. They're going to go back, and different ones will come back. We want people to talk about it.
Would that work for you, Lucy?
I think that would be a great idea. I think it would be amazing to have them reunited.
Okay, all right.
Let us know how the campaign goes. Stelios, thank you. Lucy, nice to see you too. Thank you.
It's that time of year again.